Steve here.
Stanley Woodenite.
Oh.
Vanessa Redhawk Thompson.
Here.
Michael Lunderman.
Here.
Fremont Fowler. Sunil Blackfeather.
Here.
Bill Marshall.
Here.
Wayne.
Here.
Martha Blue Thunder. Sherry Wright Plank.
Here.
Shamala J. Kilgore.
Here.
Raymond Croeagle.
Here.
Dara Ayat.
Here.
Donna Hollowhender.
Here.
Dwight Sponichel.
Oh. One whirlwind soldier.
And Flexon.
Let me see if I remember. Just kidding.
Monday, November 5th, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Well, tak jak by haj, čo te vašte na te čvi zapi.
So again, it will be beginning at 6 a.m.
Wa chake wa kage ki omniche ki na washi chunke na washtekte zania umani kute. Le ampete ki washte ya kaku chan wanan. Well, I'm scared. Anyway, gosh, I pray that we all have a good meeting today. We think of the people, we think of everybody around us. We pray for those that are sick, and we pray for good health for our people. And we pray that we make good decisions today. Ray.
Charlie always does this previously all the time. Say a prayer for his journey and for his family.
Morning.
Good morning. The sound just went out, so we're waiting for it to come back on.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, did I get counted or too much static?
We lost service, guys. Justin's trying to hook you guys back up. I just logged in to tell you that.
Okay,
I was wondering, we lost the chambers.
I know. Don't cry for us too much.
Okay, well, we can do that. We're voting on excuses. We're approving excuses. Dwight,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there was a lot of static before.
Okay. Are you approving excuses? Dwight? Yes?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes.
Tennille?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes, and I couldn't hear because it was wet off, but I do need to be gone tomorrow, for tomorrow's meeting.
Tomorrow's meeting, okay. Donna?
Yes.
Russell?
Oh,
Wayne?
yes.
Okay, opposed?
Did you call my name? This is Steve.
Steve? Yes? Moving excuses?
Steve, yes. Yes.
Opposed? 0, not voting, 0. I think there's 15. 17, 0. Motion carried. They're working on the connection again, so you guys can probably reconnect here in just a few minutes. He's working on it. Okay, we go to agenda approval. We have any additions to our agenda?
You talk about,
Lisa? Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
can we add Chief Marshall's position on there to advertise it?
Sure. Okay. Lisa?
Good morning, council. I think first and foremost for our agenda today, can we have Skyla and Deanne Jensen come down and talk about issues regarding the task force? We had a
Okay.
meeting on Monday and Deanne had some recommendations on some protocols that council should make a decision on. She just had some recommendations regarding quarantine and isolation time.
I was gonna do that little update on my report, so we can bring them down during my report, but we have our new superintendent here, Jolene Ashley. Maybe we can do her first, and then we can go back to the constitutional officers, yeah.
And then also, Chairman, you know, on our regular agenda here with our list of programs, the IT department on here to report during our regular monthly meetings.
Okay,
I think they just need to come down and make a report and talk about their prospects on how to better the IT department and any questions that we have concerning the connections and everything that since we're going remotely. And I know I get a lot of questions about my channel 93 before you.
I was gonna put them on there on their monthly report. They can start doing it monthly, and we'll put them between health board and judiciary. Hey, Skyla, can you and Deanne come down and give a little report on our task force?
Can you give us about 10 minutes? Because we're having a staff meeting real quick.
Probably about 9. Just kidding. No, oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, all right. Yep, bye.
Also, Madam Secretary, I know that the last time we came down to report on Redco, they were coming down quarterly to report to council. Before that, they were coming down monthly. But we did make a motion that day to have them come down monthly. And Clay Holmes, the new CEO now over at Redco, so maybe he can just contact him and let him know. They just come down there the last Wednesday of every month for casino reporting. Said, oh.
Anything else? Sure.
Thank you, Sandra. I guess I wanted to bring up EHR, but I'll bring that up when the task force comes down.
Okay.
I wanted to add in addition the health insurance to our agenda and 2023 budgets.
Did the health insurance that you're talking about for the tribe is,
Yes.
no, that's the two ones that we're competing for, RST and Kelly Insurance. Did the health board ever make a recommendation as far as what they wanted to do with that?
They're supposed to come back with the new, what did they have? They had it was in addition to their proposed. It wasn't like phases, but it was like a different proposal. I know RST was gonna include some proposal that we had lost track of it.
Okay, so,
And the insurance officer did do her survey and she had.
okay, she's had some recommendations. Okay. Anything else? Pam?
One of the things that I don't know if Ray can do with the update or if we need to have the acting general manager from the casino come down, but I know this week for the casino, I don't know what our plan is out there. I have gotten questions on this curfew that's going on along with the whatever word we hear as a tribe. So I don't know if Ray can cover those questions or if we need the acting general manager down there. Maybe one of you guys can answer.
I think the acting general manager is out right now. He's got some health problems going on. I did talk to Pete. He's still the assistant general manager out there, so he's kind of stepped up again. They're running their curfew from 12 to 12 each day, so it's not like they're not sending people home and they don't have anybody out there anyway. So I think they're closing at 11 o'clock, giving their employees to make it home in time, so to beat the curfew. So as far as the curfew, that's what they're doing. As far as, I just told them to step it up as far as the casino activity out there, making sure that their masks are being worn and all the protocols are being followed. So he assured me that they were gonna do that. Okay. Okay, we need a motion to approve the agenda. Lisa, second by Pam, question by Ray. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Eileen?
It's on our agenda.
Dwight?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Bill?
Eileen?
Yes.
Eileen, yes. Sorry.
Russell?
Oh,
Wayne?
yes.
Steve?
Yes.
17,
Opposed?
0,
Not voting?
0.
Motion carried. Okay, the first on our agenda, we're gonna move BIA up to up front till our task force gets down here so we can have our discussion during our constitutional officers. Jolene, are you ready to give a report today?
Yes.
Speak to the council. You can come up front if you want. You might want to introduce yourself again. It's been a while since you.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, yes. Joel Nash is here. These are my plans and what it will be.
Can you put the laptop down by her?
Sure.
Or Towering House. Well, Happy New Year. It's 2022. Kind of moving along here. I want to thank the president, Mr. Vice President, and honorable council delegates here and online, and those of you listening in. Tribal program staff, Happy New Year, along with other tribal members listening in on the call today. Well, I did send out the report to council, December 2021. I just reported December 5th, which is, well, the next day, Monday, was my first day with here at Rosebud. So it's been about a month that I've been here. In the report, though, it goes over the social services, facilities management, self-determination, different aspects with trust and natural resources, rights of way and fee to trust, both here at Rosebud and at the regional level. So what I wanted to do is just kind of highlight different aspects. And foremost, I'd like to give my condolences on the recent passing of your council member, the Honorable Mr. Spotted Eagle, I'm sorry. Spotted Tail, I'm sorry. So yeah, I just went through the facilities. I'm getting to be more aware of the locations of the different communities. I'm aware that there's 22 total. And so I went through this morning, again, through the different communities like Rosebud and then out that way and then around. So I'd really like to become more familiar in going out to each of your communities. And if I'm welcome to, I'd like to hopefully meet with you and go through your communities that you represent and just go through some of the issues there and some of the priority aspects that you want to address in those areas. I think that will help me to understand just on the ground, you know, physically what you're dealing with there and your different priority projects within your community. We do have an acting deputy superintendent, Wendy Wells. She's actually doing training this week. Just to let you know and highlights of what I've been doing as coming on board is I've been working to basically just get access to the system. So a lot of it has been training. However, I've been having bi-weekly meetings with the branch agency departments. And so we do that. We just had them this week. And so we're prioritizing their different projects. And one of the areas that we've been looking at is mainly with range and getting out the payments, but also with realty. So I know there's a lot of current projects with realty that are on deck. And one of the concerns that was brought up to my attention, just to let you know, is the port facility. So Dean and I will be taking a drive out there tomorrow to do the inspection. And we do have a meeting set with the regional person, Mr. Herman.
That means
Dean, Ira? Yeah.
Is he back now or?
So what we, well, I left it up to him with his decision to
Okay.
go up there and to have that conversation with, Mr. Lapointe as that was kind of made prior to me coming. So, he left Monday, but he's returning today because of what's going on with the port facility. So him and I will be going out there tomorrow to address that issue. And then we'll give you an update if you would like to have one. Let's see. Currently, as we continue to report out, we do have some positions that are open, and it relates to the fire program. We have a forestry technician, which is fuels, the supervisory forestry tech, and a program support assistance. And that falls under social services due to our loss too with Ms. Ruth Foreman. So that position.
There was the community service director was down here this morning, and she asked me to bring that up to today. We probably passing. We have people that are trying to fill her position to do the burials.
Okay.
It's not working so well on our part as far as we're doing up there, but I think it's kind of hit and miss with you guys on that part. I don't know if you have plan on hiring somebody full time to fill that position, or if you have somebody that can fill that position for temporarily. We do have a lot of deaths the past few weeks, and we have a lot of and it's just not working for us as far as what you guys are doing over there.
Okay.
We need to have you guys step it up a little bit for us to take care of those burials.
Okay, yeah, we've had some issues with COVID as well with the staff for helping with that.
Okay.
So we'll address that.
Okay.
I'm just thinking in my mind who.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. So social services, we'll be addressing that. Like I said, we've had current COVID affect our agency as well and our employees there. So we'll address that. So we did receive 21 burial applications during the month of December. 14 were eligible with an estimate of about 49,000 paid out. So that's the stats for that. We did get another updated information this morning, so that'll be in the next report. Facilities management, I've been going out to the different areas. Like this morning we went out and we did some sort of inspections with some of the different units. And as I understand, what I'd like to do with facilities is to work with them, to work with the tribe on those areas that are wanting to be turned back over to the tribe. So I'd like to work with you on that if we can to get that going.
Sure, have a question, Dawn.
For the land leases, like I know Rosebud has several vacant lots. Do you know if those leases, although they are vacant, they still are held by the DIA? Are they being paid annually?
For
all of the home site leases that are here that are vacant or abandoned?
if they're being paid for.
Yeah.
I can find out that if they're vacant, so nobody's there.
Nobody's there or there's no structure on them. They're still in the name of the BI still has the land use.
I will find out that information for you. And you're looking at, I'm sorry. Sherry.
then for the burials, is that something that, the BIA can just give that burial funding to our social services office? So we'd have to,
Self-determine that one.
Yeah,
can we work on doing that?
we can have that discussion further. That would be good to have. Yeah.
Will be something here. Question or comment?
Good morning and thank you for coming. I was just looking through your report and I just had a quick question. Have the programs that you have mentioned have not yet turned in their semi-annual narrative report? Have you received anything from them?
Under what section? Sorry. Self-determination? Yes, those I did speak, and we did have a meeting with Andy, and she said that she did send out the notifications, and that she would be calling those different programs to follow up. So hopefully we can have those discussions to get those reports in, because I know that the other big next step would be the audit.
Okay, because they were due on the 15th. And
Yes.
Yes. I'll make a motion to direct the chairman to have the Spotted Tail Crisis Center, Natural Resources, OMB, Safety of Dams, and SRD turn in their semi-annual narrative reports immediately.
Question.
Motion by Lisa, second by Pam, question by Sheriff. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Dwight,
Oh,
Micah,
Yeah.
Eileen? Donna,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Russell,
Oh,
Wayne,
yes.
Steve,
yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Opposed,
14, 0,
not voting?
2, 3. Yeah. 3 is not.
Motion carried.
I just had a couple of other things.
One D is, it doesn't, they haven't had a position and meant to, as far as, them being to the personnel committee, they put a hold on advertising that position, how it gets involved. So there's some still issues with that position. It's a personnel issue that has to do with the PA, so I will get that resolved. I'm going to report back to you today.
Also on the pending 13 feet of trust applications that we have, I know we had those up for quite a while, they just pending. On your next report, can you get us a timeline on there on why they've been pending so long, and maybe we can work together to push something up to the Department of the Interior
Yes.
to get those approved or see what's right about it. And also in our ILCA Indian land consolidation, when we need to make some movement on that too. We have those TA accounts also that we need to address. I don't know if Chairman has authorization to access those accounts yet, or I know TLE hasn't been able to, so. So those are just two things with the ILCA money and then the FEDA trust. And the TA account too. The last time those were addressed, I think it was when Courtney was working there.
The T accounts.
Yeah, we have some TA accounts there that have some money inside.
Okay.
Probably obtained, but we need to get an actual authorization to access those accounts, and then
I'll follow up on
and
that.
transfer that. Thank you.
Just kind of alongside of what you just brought up with some of the information there. Working with Andy, I know and I understand that there are some old accounts that are still there and lingering that have old money that we would need to, that we would like to work with the different programs and council and see if we could look at updating or revising the scope of work and reallocating those money. I'd hate for that to just sit there and not be used towards a different type of scope of work that's approved. So there's quite a bit of funding there. So we can, I don't know who I would be working with to do that with just the programs. Kim Ledoux.
SRD, yeah, their office is right over there, BIA.
Okay,
But I know there's the talk of, you know, a couple of program reviews. I think one was for the court and I can't remember if it was one of our correctional facilities, but you know, we would need some funding to get those reviews. So that would be a very good, yeah,
okay. Just before I go on, are there any other questions that you have regarding the report or highlights that you wanted to bring out?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, Miss Superintendent. Welcome to the area. Questions that I had were, I just happened to be looking on USA Jobs now. Those positions that you said that are open, are they going to start being advertised?
Yes, they're supposed to be advertised beginning of February. So we just went back to review again the job descriptions. And so that's supposed to come out through the Anadarko office, the HR office there. So look for it in February. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Another question is that RST has a volunteer fire department and they have been waiting for 10 months for trucks to be, I guess there's like an inspection that the FMO has to do at the fire department, and it has never been done, and that really affects their ability to actually make revenue for the department. And I'd like you to look into that, please, of getting those trucks certified by the FMO.
Okay.
Thank you, that's it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead, Neil. Donna, go ahead.
Donna. Good morning. One of the questions I have with the funding that you're saying is available, in one of our committees is the Constitution Amendments is coming up. And I'd like to see our visit in a discussion with you regarding what some of the monies can do to help us with our Constitution amendments. Thank you.
Any other questions? Joanna, are you completed or you got some more to report?
Well, just those highlights would be, those would be the big ones, would be just to get the reports from the programs and work with the audit aspects and then address those contracts that still have the funding and then re-identify how to repurpose those funds. Range, we're just moving forward with those as well with the payments and such. So I know Sunny's working on that, getting that out. Those are basically just the highlights other than the actual full report.
Yeah.
Good morning, thank you for coming. One of the things in the report is the dams have 10 high hazard dams on the station. What is the Bureau's action and those were done? Three or they're in place for those? They're funding for it?
Well, right now we are waiting for our FY 2022 funding to come through. And so what I could do is work with the Safety and Dams program and see where they're at with their priority projects, but also check in the Bureau's database as well with the funding.
So you're not sure.
I can find out more information as far as working with the Safety of Dams program.
Okay. The reason why I asked that is because that's the first time I've ever seen that we hit that high hazard for the dams.
Mhm.
What-
Just
I mean,
stated.
Is it the climate or what needs to put them on high risk or high hazard?
High hazard would be just dated infrastructure. So one of the things that we would do at the Bureau is to inspect them, submit the reports, and then seek funding so that they get repaired. So we can go out there and, well, I'd like to see them myself physically. I know that's always a concern. And if they breach, then that's another concern as well. So I'll see where it is in the data system and see what we need to do next and report back with an action plan on what we're working on.
Okay, now where are we at with our bridges? I know that the last 2 years, there's only been maybe 2 or 3 bridges that were repaired and brought up to code, but there was still like 6 of them that still needed, and I don't see any of that in this report, so I'm not sure where those are at. Find out on that.
I can find out about that. Usually bridges are under the tribe's LRTP, the Long Range Transportation Plan. And so if with the Rosebud Sioux Transportation Department, I can work with them and see where that's at on their listing and
But I
see
think
if it's
the
even
Bureau- I
been,
think the Bureau does have some input
Okay.
on them. They did some Northern Bridge and something's done. I think the Bureau was a part of it too. So
okay,
I believe you guys are still involved in that.
okay.
So if I could get some kind of information on those, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, I can report back on that.
Yeah.
Council, happy New Year. Superintendent, Ashley. I have a question like concerning your guys' compliance officers. I seen an email from the board of Tribal Land Enterprise. And I was kind of seeing them pushing the buck off on each other on land violations. So I don't know if you've noticed, since you said you're cruising our lands, if you've noticed how much range management isn't being implemented or even checked. You can look at all of our lands and you can determine the growth that's going to come, and it's not very much. TLE, we have a lot of these lessees that are having questions, especially landowners with Lakota who still hold their land allotments. BIA, they're having issues, they're not getting the payments. Some of them going out, one of them went to just go have a picnic on their land and it's all bailed up. Hasn't ever had a lease on it in their family. They're an old school family that doesn't believe in leasing it out. So what are we doing to the tribal members who are doing this? You know, obviously there's Vilagana that are doing it as well. But we have a lot of tribal members that are breaking our own land laws. What are your compliance officers doing about that? What are your range? What's your range team? You know, I know they get a pretty decent salary, but when it comes to our lands, where do they stand? Do they walk with respect on it? Because looking at our lands, we're kind of in a crisis. She said there's 10 dams that are in jeopardy. You know, I'll probably take you to a few of them. You know, I'm a harvester, so I'm out on the land all year long. My family and I, we noticed, I guess, looking for the scientific word, We notice trends in the land that rise and fall, and it has to do with climate, but it also has to do with agriculture. Cows, now sheep, no pun intended. But the sheep are eating our tutsila tops. The sheep are eating our medicine. And so, you know, how can we as a nation address those issues when we feel like our medicine and our health come before a white man's sheep, you know? I've got a lot of concerns when it comes to the land. We don't own the land owns us. And for many years, the paternalistic efforts of the Bureau of Indian Affairs has held us at bay. They've kept us in a situation where we think we have to beg you guys just for help, when in all actuality, we are the landowners who take care of this, we're the stewards of this, and you guys are just there to make sure that we're okay. So I want to know your range department, your compliance officers, Jared Dillon, Ira Dean Wilson. You know, I want to know where they stand and what they're doing to protect us, because our tribal members feel like they're not being protected at all, and especially the Latis. So, you know, when it comes to our lands, what's the VIA's stance on protecting it? You know, can we have a little bit more compassion from the Bureau, maybe? We have a lot of people dying. We have a lot of people that are going through probate. We have a lot of people with the ILCA who aren't being, who aren't being told, maybe you should keep this land. Maybe this land is why your grandfather gave it to you, so it could stay. Instead, we have CLE, we have BIA coming in to ask for that land. Hey, you guys want to sell it? And it's dirt cheap. We can't even get a real estate appraiser here to do anything. So we're going at bottom value appraisals, you know? I signed a paper for somebody's lease. They sold some land and it was not even worth it, you know? And I know where that land's at. I know what it's capable of producing because I picked medicine on it. Why are they giving pennies? I don't understand that. So I'd like to build a stronger relationship with the Bureau in terms of natural resources, in terms of land development, the infrastructure, because our lands are all we have, but yet we gear it toward agriculture. Maybe if we geared it towards something else, like business, construction, something, you know, maybe we could get a stance off of that frontiersman attitude that we have to put up with from tribal members themselves. So I just wanted to tell you that that's how I feel about our land. I feel like it doesn't get enough respect, especially from the people who are getting paid to walk on it. So I just like to see our Latis given more respect, and I'd like to see them have a little bit more anxiety lesson when they call the Bureau. Right now, I have tribal members who want to give family members land because they don't have nothing, but it's a big hassle because every time we call 856-2203, it's even busy or they don't answer. So, you know, how are we supposed to get into there and how are we supposed to get questions answered if nobody's there for us? I just, you know, things like that really bother me. I try to walk with the people myself. I know how it is to struggle. You know, I was raised to look at the BIA from all angles. So I just want to, you know, be able to build a stronger relationship where we're not looking over our shoulders at each other, side-eyeing one another. You know, I just want to be able to break bread and talk about things that can improve our stance rather than keep it right where it is. Thank you.
Just along those lines, President Biden is looking at putting 4.6 billion into climate and land aspects, and part of that will be part of fire as far as fuels, just because the nationwide, the large wild land fires that have occurred that impacted and are impacting the environment as a whole. And so one of the areas that I'd like to see is well, working with range, but also our our fire office as far as looking at going out to the land, doing assessments and doing some various burns just so that it is preparing, but also prevention, but also restoration. So I did bring that up to both the range, fire and realty as far as what we would like to work with the tribal government, with the tribe to see what programs could access those funds. And so we would be willing to work with the programs to seek that, some of the $4.6 billion.
Would it be possible to like make like a little program, like a Trails and Rec program where like we get maybe young, hardworking, you know, the people to go in and clean up those piles and get them ready for it? Because obviously the wildland crews can't control the whole forest because there's so low staff. But if there's money available, can we do that?
Yes, we can do that through prevention.
Because that'd be cool to make trails that are actually, you know, hikeable and I don't know. It's a forest, you know, it's our largest resource, but yet it's littered with beer cans, you know, it's not really looked at with that reverence that it's supposed to be, you know, holding everything that is our existence. You know, culturally speaking, that's the wood, the timber that's gonna hold our lodges, you know, that's gonna fire them, the water. They moved us here because it's similar to the Black Hills and it holds every medicine that Black Hills holds too. So we're taken care of, but yet you cruise the fire trails, you know, you're gonna find a party, you know, you cruise down to the lakes and it's, you know, it's not right. We do have rangers, but we need more, you know, it's such a vast homeland and we only have, I think, 5 rangers. Yeah, and so that's not very many, you know, and there's no way that they can police everything, but we have to take control of that forest. And I know that roads department for BIA goes in and grades some of the trails. And I've had somebody from forestry say, well, you know, you guys don't need to be up there anyway. Well, what if we have a fire? How are you know, personnel supposed to get in there to take care of it, you know, if it's not done right? So there's just a lot of issues that when a fire should arise. If you just prove it, we have trash everywhere. If, you know, high winds come, it's done, you know. I know fires, seems like we would be having more controlled burns because I used to work for Forest Service for the Black Hills. And we did that a lot. We took care of it, we restored it. There's certain aspects you could take to make things better. You know, you're not just destroying it.
Yeah.
But I think we need more trained individuals to lead these kind of efforts and kind of, you know, we got to get off of that. Oh, you think you're better? You know all this? No. Yeah. I know this, and I'm trying to help. That's, you know, that's the mission that I try to pray for. But it'd be cool if. Yeah, you know, you guys could work a lot more and with the tribal programs to create. And I think that's what the forest wants as well. It wants people back on it rather than just to drink. So thank you.
The other program we did notify is as well under range is that we do have some an opening for noxious weeds, and that ends at the end of January of this month. So we did reach out to the tribal program to let them know that that's available for funding.
That's a pretty big one too.
Yeah.
I always think like people use bird feeders and they put them in their yard, and then we get birds that are migrating, and then they eat bird feed, then they go sit up on the telephone wires. And then you know how it gets, but,
yeah.
And so they're bringing in their backup from somewhere else, you know, and it's just bringing in different plant species that are invasive. And I remember working for Forest Service, there was a bird that normally migrates from Cuba to Florida, and it was dead in the Black Hills. And it was because of climate change and different wind patterns, and it brought it here, and it ate some of our food that was noxious, and it died from it. So, you know, yeah, that'd be a big one for us.
Council reminder, let her finish up on her presentation. You got 3 minutes. So
Sorry.
That's okay. Other than just factual information and just some of the highlights, especially with TAMS, I know that that's really important as far as looking at the feeder trust. And I've asked our realty and range to get refreshers within TAMS, just to, and myself, of course, so that we can get those processed quicker and actually do the work as well in the field. So
You have to pass a background inspection for that, right? For TAMS?
no, it's just no, everyone at the, well, realty and range and myself, that's the accounting.
Yeah.
So
if it was to be
assets and
administered
accounting.
anywhere else, would they have to?
I don't believe so. I mean, we already were background checked for the position, so.
Yeah, well, I'm at other entities,
Oh.
because I know, at another program, they were using it, and a couple of the staff couldn't pass a background inspection, so that raised my eyebrows, because that's very sensitive and delicate information that's confidential, and if someone can't pass a background inspection, then what are you doing with it? You know what I mean? So I was just, that was just a personal question.
Probate will be doing that too, so, we do have them transitioning into TAMS from the old system, so that's something that they're working on as well. So, but that's all I have right now, unless there's more specific questions.
So how do you like the cool weather? Are we here?
It's actually nice today, or it's been nice the last couple.
Stan had a question or comment. What's Stan?
I've been with the corporate community. And this is in regards to safety. Unless we do some lighting and junction of Highway 44 at 63. And one of the community and they would request some lighting for safety and some signs, student signs. The west, east, thing that's no shut. So it's not be gone back to that. I mean, it needs some improvements, but it could be some more. And I was over to the department over here. I think there was a group not again. The whole coming from Forest, Berkeley belongs to the county. And other two roads make good along the state. So his advice was to see the people that have going on.
Okay. And that was interstates, what again?
It's highway number 44 and highway number 62.
Yeah, junction of 63 and 44.
Okay.
Concrete. There's a lot of fatalities there. It's not lit up. The speed limit is 65. There's no slowing down at all. Me and my kids did a sobriety walk there. COVID first hit, and we didn't even have people slowing down for us. And we were 90 people strong. We're walking 23 miles. So it's a very busy highway. You're familiar that it runs from Canada to Mexico on 83. So 44 is, and it cuts off and hits the Black Hills. So it's a very, very high concentrated area.
Okay, I'll look into it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, is there any more questions for the superintendent? Not, we probably need to make a motion to approve a report. Gordon, approve the superintendent's report, the I report. The second, Sure. Sarah, question by Stan. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Eileen? Dwight?
Oh,
Russell?
Oh.
Micah?
Yes.
Wayne?
you betcha.
Steve?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Opposed?
0,
Not voting?
3. 1403.
Motion carried. Lynn, you wanna go around?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, council, we have, the task force down here, members of the task force. Last week we had we talked about the numbers and some of the changes that we might need to do to improve things for the people